The Vandals were a Germanic people who, rather than simply appearing out of nowhere, took shape as a confederation of groups over the long period of migrations and reorganizations in the late Empire. The earliest Roman-era references are ancient, but their political history becomes truly visible when the balance along the Rhine-Danube frontier breaks between the 4th and 5th centuries. At the start of the 5th century, under the general pressure of the crises of the time, the Vandals move west. In 406, a large coalition crosses the Rhine. Vandals, Alans, Suebi, and others overrun wide areas of Gaul and, within a few years, reach Hispania. In Spain, the Vandals are not a single bloc. The sources distinguish at least two major components, the Hasdingi and the Silingi. In the chaos of local wars and proxy interventions, Hasdingian group led by Genseric ends up becoming dominant, while the Silingi and the Alans are largely scattered or absorbed, so much so that later Vandal kings would also claim the title linked to the Alans. The decisive leap comes in 429, when King Genseric leads the entire people into Africa, crossing the strait. Tradition links the event as well to internal tensions within the empire in Africa. The general Bonifacius is sometimes presented as the inviter, but more cautious modern scholarship emphasizes that Africa, rich and strategic, was such an attractive objective that it did not necessarily require any formal invitation. Genseric advances rapidly. In 430 to 431, he besieges Hippo, which falls after a long siege during which Augustine dies. And in 435, he secures a first agreement recognizing Vandal control over part of the territory. Then, in 439, he breaks the balance and takes Carthage, turning it into the capital of the new kingdom. A further treaty in 442 consolidates their position across much of Roman Africa. From that moment, the Vandals are no longer armed migrants, but a true Mediterranean state. They control key areas of present-day Tunisia and northeastern Algeria and, over time, manage to annex or occupy strategic points in the western Mediterranean, such as Sardinia, Corsica, and parts of Sicily. Genseric understands one thing better than many of his contemporaries. Power is not only in legions, but in routes and fleets. With strong maritime capability, and even by using merchant vessels, the Vandal kingdom becomes a major player at sea, coastal raids, economic pressure, disruption of shipping, and a constant ability to politically blackmail Rome and Constantinople. The ultimate symbol of their fame and their bad reputation is the sack of Rome in 455. In a West already in political freefall, Genseric enters Italy and takes Rome, which is occupied and systematically stripped for about 2 weeks. Loot, hostages, and treasures become tools of negotiation and prestige, more than blind destruction for its own sake. It is precisely from this episode that, centuries later, the automatic association Vandal equals destroyer is born. But modern historians point out that the Vandals were probably no more deliberately destructive than other major actors in the invasions. The idea of vandalism as a moral and cultural category emerges much later, especially in the 18th century and during the French Revolution, when Abbé Henri Grégoire coins the term vandalisme, 1794, to denounce the destruction of artworks and monuments, using the Vandals as a political metaphor. Within Africa, the Vandal kingdom rules a population that is largely Romano-African and Christian, with cities, countryside, great estates, and an administrative machine inherited from the Roman world. Here, a delicate chapter opens. Religion. The Vandal elite is Arian, while much of the local population is Nicene Catholic. Policies fluctuate. There are phases of tolerance and phases of harshness. Persecutions against the Catholic Church are often amplified by Catholic sources. But real episodes and waves of repression do occur, and they become particularly severe under Huneric, reaching even religious political maneuvers, such as convening a conference at Carthage and subsequent exiles. On the military and diplomatic level, Rome repeatedly tries to reclaim Africa because Africa is no ordinary province. Grain, taxes, ports, logistics. A massive reconquest attempt takes place in 468 with a joint Eastern and Western Roman expedition. It fails disastrously, in part because of Vandal naval skill, and it marks a point of no return for the West's ability to recover decisive resources. After Genseric's death, the kingdom remains standing, but gradually loses the founder's strategic ferocity. His successors are less feared. Internal balances shift, compromises with local Roman culture increase, and over time, part of the Vandal elite becomes Romanized in its customs. Meanwhile, in the interior and in mountainous and desert zones, less controllable local Moorish Berber powers grow or consolidate, and Africa becomes a mosaic more complex than imperial chronicles alone suggest. The final blow comes in the 6th century. Emperor Justinian, in his project of imperial restoration, finds a perfect political pretext: the deposition of King Hilderic by Gelimer. In 533, Belisarius lands in Africa. In a very rapid campaign, within a few months, the Vandal army is defeated and the kingdom collapses. By 534, the Vandal monarchy is finished, and Africa formally returns under Eastern Roman rule. From that point onward, the Vandals do not vanish as people overnight. Some are integrated, scattered, recruited, or absorbed into the local fabric. But as an autonomous political identity, they no longer play a historical role comparable to that of the 5th century. If you want, I can also add a final myth versus reality section on 3 things. 1. How much truth there is in vandalism. 2. Why Africa was the key to the empire. 3. Why Genseric was far more a Mediterranean statesman than a mere raider.